Housing Development Progress. Number one and the best. Housing Development Progress. Number one. Number one. Housing Development Progress. Number one and the best. Housing Development Progress. Number one. Housing Development Progress. In Nigeria. Housing Development Progress. In Africa. Housing Development Program and the globe. Number one, Housing Development Program.
Shelter is ranked second in the hierarchy of human needs, being the most important after food in order of importance for survival. Nigeria, the most populous country in Africa and the 8th most populous country in the world, is facing serious housing challenges. This is evident in the available statistics indicating that 87% of the total population of households in the country live in rented apartments. Specifically in Lagos, 60% of residents are tenants, leaving housing demand to an estimated figure of approximately 2.17 million annually. Most of the existing accommodation units are provided by private investors, and tenants have to pay rent as high as 50 to 70% of their monthly incomes. Glad to have you join me on yet another informative episode of Housing Development. As always, I am your housing diva, Flora Arne. Before we begin, as usual, let's see the news making rounds in the sector. I'll join you shortly.
The Africa International Housing Show, AIHS, is a continent's premier event dedicated to promoting sustainable and affordable housing solutions. With its reputation for bringing together stakeholders and manufacturers of building materials from not less than 20 countries annually, the AIHS has become an essential platform for exchanging ideas, showcasing innovations, and fostering collaboration to tackle Africa's housing challenges. The upcoming edition of AIHS, scheduled for 19th to 25th of July 2024 at the International Conference Center in Abuja, Nigeria, promises to be an even grander affair than its successful past editions. This is due in part to its heightened focus on sustainable development, technology integration, and inclusive housing policies. In addition, the event will feature a wider range of speakers and exhibitors, as well as a more comprehensive program of activities. As a result, AIHS 2024 is expected to attract a record number of participants from all over the world. The Federal Housing Authority (FHA) has unveiled its ambitious plan for 2024, dedicating a significant portion of its budget towards providing affordable housing solutions for Nigerians. With an allocation of 776 million naira specifically earmarked for this purpose, the FHA aims to address the pressing need for accessible housing across the country. This substantial investment represents a key commitment by the FHA to tackle the housing deficits prevalent among various income groups in Nigeria. The allocated funds will primarily be channeled into initiatives focused on land acquisition and the construction of houses geared towards affordability, aiming to cater for the diverse housing needs of the populace. The Lagos State government has unveiled plans for a massive crackdown on illegal buildings in 2024. The Commissioner for Lagos State, Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development, Dr. Oluyinka Olumide, disclosed this in a recent statement by the Director of Public Affairs, LASPA, Abimbola Mdin Umein, Lagos. According to him, the state government will no longer tolerate illegality. Olumide expressed this during the resumption of enforcement actions by officials from the Lagos State Physical Planning Permit Authority in the Ikeja area.
housing, construction and finance news the world to visit www.africanhousingnews.com. The rough terrain of the Nigerian economy reflected in stifled disposable income, relatively high inflation rate, and high cost of living has made home ownership a difficult task for low-income earners. Given these challenges, a large number of low-income earners have jettisoned plans of owning homes, even as a struggle to meet the basic needs of life. Let's find out the reactions of some Nigerians on Voices on the Street.
As of last year, houses was very expensive in last year. So if they can do this year, should be a better year for us, so that Nigerians will enjoy everything that we have. Nigeria, we have everything in this country, but houses, especially shops, very expensive. If they can reduce the prices.
As you can see now, because of the economic situation in Nigeria, many people they have devised to use inferior material to build house. When you use inferior material, you build house, some of them will even build 3 building story, which the foundation is not up to that. The foundation might be just 1 story, but along the line, because of the demand, they will increase it to 3 building. It will lead to collapse. That is the challenge we are facing in Nigeria. So the way out of this problem, or the first thing is government.
70%, you understand, are unable to get a better house for them to stay. You understand, due to what, should I say, the increase in everything, you understand. I couldn't really, picture it, you understand, that very particular side where this increase is coming from. But I know that anything about house here in Abuja is very, very expensive, you understand.
A guy I know actually lost close to 4-point-something million naira. His shop got demolished, and trust me, he's trying to raise capital now. So it's really, really terrible. For last year, it was really terrible. Now for this year, like you rightly said, we're looking for better housing plan, because a lot of houses in this area, to be precise, most of, especially the rural areas, they are not well built.
Some of us, looking at what we have around, I think if government will intervene, people should not be having problem of accommodation. You see a lot of abandoned houses, some are completed, but people are not there. If I have the opportunity, I should ask, why will you, if it's your personal money you have invested in building structures that we see around Abuja and nobody is occupying, I think it will not be possible. Definitely the monies are acquired elsewhere and the poor masses are suffering. So if I may suggest anything, we should look into the houses that are littered around Abuja that are not occupied and people are suffering.
Voices on the Street there. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu recently signed the 28.7 trillion naira 2024 budget into law. Out of the 28.7 trillion naira proposed expenditure, the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development got a total allocation of 99,982,577,351 naira. Now, industry experts are worried that the federal government provision for the sector in the 2024 budget may not meet the huge housing demand by prospective homeowners and subscribers. The rental rate in Nigeria is in a steady rise, which stands to promote the fact that many Nigerians can only afford to rent properties than buying out properties. Now, speaking on this right after the break is Barrister Fesadeb, the Executive Director of Housing Development Advocacy Network. Stay with Housing Development. This is Housing Development, the only TV program that gives you the best information.
It's good news. Are you a stakeholder in the built environment, or you are looking for an authentic, credible source for housing and construction news in Africa? You now have an opportunity. Africa International Housing Show has now created a unique opportunity for you by establishing a full-fledged housing television, the first of its kind in Africa. You can now access information on home ownership, rental, building materials, finance, real estate, and insurance, among others, all on Housing TV Africa. channel 149 on StarTime.
Welcome back. You're still watching Housing Development. Before the short break, I will say that the Executive Director of Housing Development, Advocacy, will be joining me right here in the studio. And he's here with me. I have Barrister Festus Adebayo. Good to have you join me on this.
Thank you so much.
All right, so now we're looking at the federal government's allocation to the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. You know, very recently, the president signed the 28.7 trillion 2024 budget into law. And out of that sum, the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development got a total allocation of 99 billion and some fractions. So will this budget be enough to address the present shortage of housing in the country? What's your thought on this?
Looking at the gigantic problem in the country, you want to say that is too poor. But I think we should start from somewhere. So if we can get the 99 billion down to the ministry for the year, looking at the agenda of the Minister for Housing and Urban Development, I think he should be able to start something with it. And then, maybe the following year, we can do better. The good news is that we have the ministry, the specialized Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, that is fully concentrated in formulation of policies, see the direction of the new estates, and others. So I think this is starting point. It may not be enough to solve the problem we are talking about, the 18 million, I don't know, like 20 million, I don't know. But I'm saying you can start somewhere with this money. You just need it to be used, to be released, and then we also need it to be effectively utilized. And then I can tell you at the end, we should be able to say this is where we have done, and this is the area we need to go to in the next year budget.
All right, so a lot of predictions are out there for the housing sector and for 2024. As an advocate for affordable housing, what can you say about the Nigerian housing market outlook for the year 2024?
The housing market for 2024 may not be as easy as many of those people who are predicting. The major aspect I would like to look into is the economic growth of the country. There is no serious signal that the economy may improve in the first quarter. So today we all know what Naira is saying to dollar. And we all know, can see inflation everywhere in the country, which undoubtedly is affecting the purchasing power of Nigerians, especially those that really need their houses. You can no more get houses of 5 million, 4 million, they're not talking of 10 million and above. Because these people are talking about the cost in the building material. You don't produce anything in Nigeria, you import everything. So on that note, I'm not saying much to be so positive. But I strongly want to also look at the area of what the Ministry of Housing has said in 2023 that they will be doing for in 2024. I strongly believe that the Ministry of Housing can drive, can bring positivity to the sector. I believe I've seen the Nigerian Stock Exchange visiting the Honorable Minister, and I can see that there's going to be a relationship in that area. But then I also see the Minister coming up with some housing reform team. So I'm very aware that very soon these committees will be set up, will be inaugurated, and for them to start working. So with this result of this reforms team, I can see some good outlook for this sector. We just need to work on some of our policies. We just need active participation of the Ministry of Housing, of the government in the area of housing, access to land, title documentation. I think developers are tired of so many tax here and there, and the issue of land grabbing, and these are the threats to the sector. And the minister can do that for the first quarter. I see some developments. That is to say, the collaboration, intervention of the federal government in the area of housing for that business of real estate development to be a little bit better than it was last year. I also need to let you know that in the area of the economy, the interest rate is not working well. It's still double-digit rates. I don't know what the CBN can do for the real estate sector. So I also see that the Honorable Minister for Housing need to make a visit, develop relationship with the CBN governor to see what he can do for the development of the sector. Because the last CBN governor was totally not interested in mortgage sector development, totally not interested in the interest rate and all the things we are. And so we all see the situation with Ghana. So if the minister can find a way, and the advocacy group like ours can find a way to interact with the CBN governor to do more in the area of mortgage. Mortgage development is key. All over the world, houses are not bought on cash and carry. Well, what we see here. So these are the areas that are likely to affect the growth of the sector in 2024. I must say, the sector in 2024 will attract foreign investment. The people who run away from this country, who japa, some of them are interested in their country and they want to have some little bit of investment here. But anytime they come back, they have a place to, they can call their own home. So on that note, we may attract some investment in that area. But I must also let you know that the population of this country is a very big advantage. And the younger ones are coming up now with the idea of property tech, proptech. And so that's one going to have a little bit of positive effect in the housing industry. In 2024, I see a lot of ideas, innovation coming up. You cannot downplay the role, what role proptech will play in the development of the sector in 2024. The population is increasing every day. That's a good market. And every Chinese man wants to have some investment in Nigeria. The Turkish man is thinking of coming to Nigeria. So the Dubai man is thinking of coming to Nigeria to exploit that opportunity. And that's where, again, the laboring environment has to be created. Our rule of law must be working. I mean, above all, the regulation of the real estate sector is very key. 2024, the Ministry of Housing must make sure that priority is placed on that. The good number of Nigerians who want to invest are afraid of these scammers who are calling themselves developers. So we really need to know who is who in the sector. The genuine real estate developer, where are they? Where is their office? And so the minister has to show some little bit of interest because the business for scammers has gone with 2023. This is 2024. So I can see that the sector is going to do with Nigeria in 2024. Tinubu's government, I think, is also making some effort to develop the economy. You cannot totally rule it out that there will be no results. There will be. But we just have to reduce the level of the corruption in the country. If you cannot stop it, let's reduce it.
So you're seeing a positive light for the housing sector. I see a positive light. This job being created. Our real estate sector still remain a very good venue for job creation. So, see a positive light. But the private sector must do their part. The government must do their part. I mean, when I say government, I mean the Federal Ministry of Housing. I mean, the Central Bank of Nigeria, those who are in charge of economy, they must also do their part. The Nigerian Stock Exchange, the outgoing president, had a good collaboration with us. And I'm expecting the Mpape the income minister to do a good collaboration. Even not only with us, but also with the Ministry of Housing. So we must break that barrier that make us not to get funding from capital for housing. So, by the grace of God, 2024 will be a greater year for all Nigerians and all of us. All right, so thank you so very much, Vice President Fesadeb, for your time on the program.
Thank you.
We don't have road, and you see at times if it is raining, you will see a lot of people will go by the roadside. They'll be thrown dead on the main road. We also doesn't have toilet. You will see a toilet, you will still up to 30 tenants. They are using one. You can't leave your door open, go and buy something. Before you will know, Babambola will enter. By the time you will take them to police station, 1 hour is too much. The police people will release them. In fact, we don't know what is happening.
This is the situation with many citizens in not just Nigeria. Are we ready for this conversation? What is the plight of an average Nigerian citizen in regards to housing? Housing is a fundamental human right, and these issues must be addressed.
I've been speaking with the Executive Director of Housing Development Advocacy Network. Now let's take a visit to Mpape in Abuja, a place popularly called Maitama Extension, to see the living conditions of the residents.
As the administrative headquarters of Nigeria, Abuja has become a city where many citizens from all tribes reside. A lot of people flock into the city daily in search of opportunities for a better living, resulting in the city's growing population on a regular basis. As the city receives more people, the struggle for access to affordable housing, which is inadequate for the teeming population, is giving rise to slum areas in the FCT. A community in Abuja known as Mpape is a large and populated district within the Federal Capital Territory. It is a hilly area located opposite Maitama, across the expressway linking Asokoro and Kubwa. A visit to Abattoir, popularly known as Back of Crush Rock in Mpape, further confirms that the community does not enjoy all the basic amenities and infrastructure due to its proximity to the seat of power, and is instead a community known for its lack of infrastructure and a population housed by shanties built on a landscape dominated by rocks. Mr. Francis, a resident who has lived in Mpape for 20 years, highlighted the major challenges of living in Back of Crush Rock, a community in Mpape. He stated that the living conditions of this area is not enjoyable and houses are costly and not up to standard.
I have stayed in Mpape above 20 years. Just a room is between 7,000–8,000 naira monthly. When you talk of one bedroom flat, we'll be talking between 150, 200, 250, depending on the condition of the house. You can talk of security challenges, you can talk of roads, you can talk of electricity, you can talk of water. There are many things that is standing as a challenge, and that's one of the things that is making people not feel comfortable here.
Esther David, a business owner and resident in the community, spoke about the bad roads leading to the community. She stated that one of the major issues in the community is access to good roads and security. She explained that the insecurity problem facing the community is alarming and needs the government's urgent intervention.
The basic things that we don't have in Mpape is we don't have road. The major thing is road. Another one is security. There's so much insecurity here in Mpape, so we need government to look for a measure where he can come and assist us, because the insecurity here is much. Sometimes kidnapping, stealing of phones, breaking out people's door when you are not around. So those things are the challenges that we have, and roads too.
The lack of electricity in the community is frustrating to the residents of Back of Crush Rock in Mpape, as it affects individuals and business owners. The absence of electricity is a major factor to the unavailability of water in the community.
The living condition in this area, let me say most of the times, we hardly had light issue in this area. Like what my other friends say, if there is no wood light, sometimes it be as if we don't have water. We cannot fetch water for drinking. Sometimes even like if there's no rain, apart if there's no rain, we go to well. And bowls most times. The most important thing in this area is just electricity.
The residents of this community plead with the government, especially the Minister for FCTA, to come to the rescue of Mpape residents in tackling the huge infrastructural differences between the community and others, especially in the area of access to basic amenities.
Welcome back. We've seen the plight of the residents of Mpape community. Filling the current housing gap of above 18 million homes would not only provide housing for our people, but also create almost 60 million new direct jobs and countless more indirect jobs. This is possible with the right policies, incentives, and mortgage solutions to put home ownership within reach for many Nigerians. On that note, I call it a wrap on today's episode of Housing Development. Thanks for watching. I remain your Housing Diva, Fleur Ang. See you soon.